Barrington, can I ask you, do you feel able to answer any questions on behalf or about the RSPCA?
No, well, I'm a member of the RSPCA, but
well,
no, I mean, I wouldn't...
Do the RSPCA exclude members? Because it's been a very topical thing on television for the last week. We've seen 2, if not 3 programmes about the ALF, and I wonder if the RSPCA exclude members of the ALF or indeed of the Hunt Saboteurs Association.
I don't know about the Hunt Saboteurs Association. I know that there are moves, of course, to take people off the council. One person in particular who has shown publicly his agreement with the Animal Liberation Front. I know there are moves underway for that.
What, to remove the Animal Liberation Front and the Hunt Saboteurs?
You remove the people, don't you, from those positions?
Yes.
But I really don't feel qualified to answer that on behalf of the RSPCA. I think you have to ask.
You're a member of the RSPCA.
Yes.
You would like to see them.
I certainly would not like to see a member of the Animal Liberation Front on the council.
Or the Hunt Saboteurs Association.
I think you've got to be careful what you say about the Hunt Saboteurs. I mean, there are people who are quite extreme. There are people who have their hearts in the right place. I wouldn't tar all the Hunt Saboteurs with the same brush.
So you're vacillating. You aren't really ready to make a decision.
No, I'm not vacillating. I'll give you an honest answer. I mean, you may think
fine. You can't answer the question. I accept your answer.
Well, I did answer the question, but if you don't like the answer, I'm very sorry.
I feel you haven't. Not satisfactory.
I'm perfectly entitled to that.
Weren't you in fact yourself a member of the Hunt Saboteurs Association, Mr. Lark?
I was never a member, but I used to go out, yes, with them, yes. If you want the history of it was back in 1974. The Beckenham Friends of the Earth, well-known terrorist group that they were, going out there with their flares and little spray cans. I mean, yes, we were a vicious opposition to the Hunts, and I'm sure we made a number of them pack up.
Mr. Barrington, can I ask you as well? We've seen a lot of advertising in the papers recently. There was a thing on the back of the Daily Telegraph, the Daily Mail, tear this out if it tears you apart. Would you be prepared to tell us how much the League Against Cruel Sports are paid for advertising on that particular run of adverts?
Only if the British Field Sports Society gave us their advertising run for the year.
So you're not prepared to say. Well, but don't you feel within your heart that if you put an advert like that in the paper, a lot of the general public must feel this advert, I mean, we don't know. I don't know what an advert costs, except it costs a lot. But as a general member of the public, and my daughter who is neither, aware of anything, but she's aware at age 12 that an advert like that costs a great deal of money. Now, if you're purporting to support wildlife, how on earth can you explain away that sort of expense, which is just purely emotional blackmail, even in the eyes of a 12-year-old?
Well, I don't agree with you.
And that vast expense spent on things which would be far better spent on the welfare of animals, if that's what you're saying.
Getting the welfare of animals.
How much for research in Scotland? 85,000. How much for the advert? I don't see any animals really benefiting.
Do you allow me to answer? Well, I mean, I think a lot of people can see the benefit in that. When you see the literally thousands of coupons that have arrived at our office as a result of those adverts, then I think anyone would see the results of them, and it's obvious. You may not like it, of course, because you may have to be on the different side of the fence. But well, if you let me answer, please, then obviously it is a way that all campaigning organisations go. I mean, if you look through any paper, you'll see adverts for Oxfam, for Amnesty International, for MenCap. I mean, are you saying that that money should always be spent on the people or issues that they? So I don't hear that. I didn't hear that. Sorry. Well, I think if fox hunting saved starving children, you'd have a point, but it doesn't.
No, but neither is the League Against Cruel Sports based starving children.
Would you like me to stand here and listen to what you've got to say, or would you like to try to answer? I mean, for years I worked with mentally handicapped adults, so I do understand human welfare. I'm a member. Yes, I thought that was humorous, yes. But I found them very loving and caring people, and certainly not one of them was a fox hunter. So I wonder who is handicapped in that sense. But nevertheless,
absolutely.
I'm sorry if the level has been dropped, but I'm afraid I'm only following the footsteps of others. But I certainly am a member of many human welfare organisations. But if you're saying that someone who wants to put their money to animal welfare whatever it may be, can't do so because we must, or they should, put their money towards human welfare, then really you're getting into a very dictatorial area, aren't you? I'm sure people here wouldn't like to be told what to do with their money, and if someone wants to give it all to cats, then fine.
No, but you're
That's their
moral blackmail
prerogative.
to get it.
Sorry?
You're using moral blackmail to get it.
Well, you may call it moral blackmail, but the Advertising Standards Authority, the body that oversees all those adverts, and there were a couple of complaints, I have to say, and they were unfounded. They were not upheld, and so, although you may feel that it's wrong, obviously the Advertising Standards body does not. So it's a matter of opinion.
But you're not in fact a registered charity, are you?
That's true.
You're putting over the aspect of a charity, right?
Oh,
You're appealing.
no, come. There are many organisations that are in that bracket. I mean, there are lots of bodies that are companies, and for one reason or another, very good reason. I mean, I'm not frightened to explain why. I mean, I'm not a charity. In fact, it's a somewhat of a handicap for us. Charities can only gain charitable status if they're perceived to be doing something which generally everyone would accept, starving children or whatever. But if you involve yourselves somewhat politically for a change where other people would regard your aims as not being for the good of everyone, then it's very difficult to get charitable status, as simple as that. And rather be handicapped by the Charity Commission, we've decided to become a company. Now, we don't get it. Would simply mean that if you were using a method which was your only method